Sagittarius.
Hey Sagittarius, this is your forecast for April 2015, and we had that total solar eclipse there March 20th. If you're listening early on here in March, you might still not have gone through the total solar eclipse yet. There is a specific other video pertaining just to that. If you haven't listened to it, there's still time for you to go and get more information on it. But that total solar eclipse showed up in your fourth house. They're at 29 degrees Pisces. Fourth house has to do with the area of home, family, and so forth. Your grounding, your security, your foundation, property, those things, and who you are inside of yourself, your inner foundation. 12th house is more your spiritual foundation, but your inner foundation and the past. So something there may be coming up on the 20th of March. However, we have another total eclipse coming up April 4th. This time it's going to be a full total lunar eclipse. And for you here, Sagittarius, it's showing up for you in your 11th house. This has to do with friendships, your hopes, your dreams, your affiliations within your social circles, your networks, and so forth. So you might just find a group here that you will feel stronger connected and affiliated with. There might also be some situation or action taking place in the area of your friends. However, though, a lunar eclipse rather than a solar eclipse, the lunar rules more your emotions and how you feel, whereas the solar has more with the I am consciousness. So you might just see maybe a friend is needing your help, specifically here on April 4th. Now, an eclipse has the power of a full moon times 3. Okay, so it's really what it's doing is wanting to set you up onto the superhighway. Expect things to pick up speed in order to get you into these new beginnings. And in order to get to the new, we might have to shut the door to something in the past. But don't despair, because the universe will never, close a door on you that's still helpful for your evolution. Only to cut those things off that's draining or leaking your energy that's going nowhere anyway. So it's always a good thing. I love when we have our eclipses. It really puts us on the mark where we can start taking action. So, and then the new moon, as we're talking about the moons, we have the new moon here on April 18th, 28 degrees in Aries, and that places the new moon here in the area of love and relationships, your self-expression, your creativity. So expect April 18th to be good for you. It's also the area of your children, and the projects, the creative projects that you do. Something here can now start to sprout, have a new beginning. And it's the time where we put down our intentions. So for you, the area of your intentions, not just for this month, but setting yourself up for a whole annual cycle, as the new moon in this area won't come back before an entire year. So we want to focus on it. It's also the time here, Sagittarius, to write yourself that abundance check. For those of you who do it, circle in April 18th. For those of you not knowing how to write yourself an abundance check, on my newsletter, I am setting up a video showing you exactly how to do it and what you can expect this abundance check can do for you in order to magnetize more money for you at the end of the month, or at the end of this new moon cycle. Now, the whole area of focus this month, rather than last month, March was more about your family, your foundation, as the Sun and Mercury and Venus and Mars was there. Now, April is all about love. There may be new love coming in. There's romance around you. You got the Sun, Mercury, Uranus, and the new moon in this area. And it also rules, of course, children. creative projects and the business that you own, not the business you work for. So expect April to really be full-ended, open here for you to really start now feeling what you've been working towards here for several months now. Here we come, the door is opening up, and I feel there's a lot of activity. There might be quick decisions needing to be made because the planets are in Aries, and Aries acts like that. Aries do not procrastinate. Okay, action, action, action. And we do have a few of these conjunctions this month here that always indicates new and surprising beginnings. So we'll talk about that as we go on when we get to the calendar. And talking about calendars here, Sagittarius, last month I changed that up. I made a separate calendar for March, and feedback from that was good, so thank you very much. Then there was some of you that still wished that I had included it in the monthly forecast, so I'm doing that this month. And then I'll still make a separate one, so both of you groups will hopefully be happy with that. But yes, I just want to go through the planets where they are in the areas of your chart, and then we will get on with the transits. But here, Venus and Mars this month are cruising through Taurus. Taurus is about security, it's about luxury things, wanting to have the good things of life. Taurus is ruled by Venus, so now Venus is cruising through, so that's a double whammy Venus thing. So romance should definitely be good. I'm feeling it's all about securing something here on a more day-to-day basis as far as love goes. Taurus needs security, so you might be feeling more need for security, but it could also be your partner needing more security. Mars coming into this area on April 1st, 0 degrees into Taurus. Well, that's your physical action, your determination, your goals, your drive here is to do exactly that, to ensure some love concept. But it's also there to ensure some financial aspect, since Venus also rules money. So this should be a month basically focused on love, but also on your financial situation, and especially because Pluto is still there, and will be for a long time in your second house for money and income. Slowly it's transforming this platform of your life, and ultimately it's all going to be good. You're going to be such a different person the way you look at values when this Pluto is over. But undergoing the process, that transformation is still a little tough for some of you to deal with, but do know it's all for the good. We got Saturn in your first house. You are now starting to feel, especially those of you born that first week of your sign, feeling that responsibilities are being called to the forefront, that you take on some more responsibility. That's Saturn, the taskmaster, the mentor, you being the wise one. Saturn is always, the wisdom that we hold pertaining to the lessons that we've learned karmically in the past. So having it now in the first house, you closed off on a 28-year cycle, so now you're putting it into action. You're showing the world. The first house is also the rising sign, so you're showing the world this growth that's taking place, and you're feeling good about it, actually. Saturn here is wanting to secure your vision, which is Sagittarius. You're always aiming, for a goal, and Saturn's here to support you, help you firm things up, and give roots to the goals that you hold. So that's good. Jupiter is turning direct this month on the 8th. So this is in your 9th house, the area of higher education, philosophical and spiritual understanding. So many of you Sagittarians are feeling this expansion taking place in your consciousness as you're reaching more so for the insights of that universe that you hold within. And it's also, of course, the area of long-distance travel, foreign countries, different cultures. Jupiter rules this area that it's now transiting in, so it's strong. You know, it's transiting through the house of Sagittarius, which Jupiter rules, but in the sign of Leo. So Leo is where we identify ourselves with ourselves, you know, it rules the heart, so to speak. So there might be dreams and longings coming up for you where you would like to travel more as we get through April, and then it's going to be direct for a long time now. So there might be more opportunities coming in. So let's get on with the calendar here. April 2nd for you, Sagittarius, Mercury and Saturn is going to have a very deep heart-to-heart talk with somebody. Somebody in authority, or it might just be you being the person of authority in your communication. But I feel this is a communication that's sober, and there's strength, there is support in it, which Saturn is going to secure. And it's coming across in such a loving and abundant and generous way, with a feeling of something jovial as well, because on the same day, the Sun is going to visit with Jupiter in a beautiful trine, which is harmonious, it's full of optimism. So this is a great day to present something. Then we have on the 4th, the total lunar eclipse, as we've talked about. On the 5th, there might be a little hiccup in the matrix as the Sun and Pluto are going to square off on each other. So there might be a conflict somewhere that you might have to act upon or listen to. It has to do with something that's transforming. Pluto always, you know, deals with endings and beginnings. So something there. But this, I feel, is not a bad thing, because it's being supportive of the energies just coming up upon it there into the 6th. We got Mercury, which is your thought processing ability and your communication skills, what you communicate and what you will hear as far as news, coming in perfect golden trine to Jupiter. Jupiter, which is the bearer of good news, good fortune, and abundance. The Sun will also conjunct with Uranus on this day. The Sun is you. Uranus is always that which happens out of the blue, or apparently feels like out of the blue, where a shift may come really quickly upon you, which is going to initiate new beginnings. And so when we have that, the Sun will only touch by conjunction with Uranus one day a year. So this is the time of year for some new initiation, some new door to open up, and it might come as a surprise for some of you. Others might have an inkling of what that may be, but then this would be the day it will be apparent. Another hiccup here on the 7th and 8th, and I don't want you to overthink it when these days come, which you might do, and it is because Mercury here scoring off on Pluto, scoring off on Uranus, and Mercury's how we think, and there's somewhat of a challenge to overcome with a change coming in or with a transformation taking place. However, though, I feel this is going to go well. Just be the observer more than the participant at this point, because then you're not having to go into the emotional side of it. Just view it and see where it's going to go, because on the 8th, Jupiter is going direct, which is going to be supportive of you, your path, the new things that you're doing. There's movement now taking place. And then on the 11th, Venus, which rules love, romance, and money and security, is going to move out of Taurus, out of that 6th house of your day-to-day routine, and it's going to move into your relationship house, the long-term committed type relationship. So this is more love coming in between you and your partner, your significant other, and how you deal with each other more on a one-to-one basis. Now, your whole 5th house for love and romance is already lit up, right, from the get-go of April. But now it coming into the 7th house, it's going to be more real. And you will have a visitor coming in here to this 7th house shortly. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But on the 11th, Mars, which is your drive, your action, your goals, your determination, is now here in beautiful sextile to Neptune. Neptune is your ideal thought, your hope, your processing, your dream, should I say. So you're going to be able to take action upon this dream when Venus has just moved into your relationship. So I feel all of this is a little bit romantic, 11th and 12th. And plus, Mercury is going into Taurus on the 14th, into your 6th house. So communication is going to be dealing with how you can do what on your day-to-day basis, you know, looking at schedules, routines, and so forth. So you're going to be busy for nearly, a few weeks here at getting things structured in a secure way. Now Pluto, which is currently in your 2nd house for income, it's going to turn retrograde on the 16th, go to sleep a little bit. So some of that heavy processing, perhaps, or that transformational energy that's taking place will cool off somewhat. And at least for the next 4 to 5 months. And on the 17th, here we have a challenge. This is Mars. Mars is still currently in your 6th house. So there's something there on your day-to-day routine and schedule where you're going to be challenged from something at distance. It could be out of town, out of state, out of country. It's Jupiter in that 9th house. Has to do with something that may rule justice. At this point, it's not the jovial Jupiter, because it's being tested here by Mars. So it might be something that deals with truth, honesty. It could be legal matters for some, because the 9th house rules legal matters. Mars here is a little feisty, which it can be when it's not in a good transit. You might feel some irritation growing up in you, or you might also feel that somebody around you might be very irritable and short-tempered, because temper is ruled by Mars. And Mars wants it wants it now. Don't hold me back, don't cut my wings. And Jupiter is coming in saying, well, are you sure you want to do this? If you're doing this, are you aware of the consequences? So Jupiter is trying to enlighten, to give. Jupiter always loves to show the big picture, not just the action, the need, the want, the drive, the desire in the now. But if you do this now, are you looking at this? So if there is a major decision needing to be made on the 17th, probably not the best day to do it. Hang in there just a few days, Sagittarius, and we'll see what Mars is going to do just a few days later. We'll get back to that. But then on the 18th, we do have that new moon, like I said, here in your 5th house for love and relationships. The time to put down your intentions, time to write your abundance check. On the 19th, here is something that may feel a little disappointing, or maybe some dreams, visions, or some expectations, perhaps. This is Venus and Neptune squaring off on each other. And we just had on the 17th this whole situation too. So something is still lingering around here, but don't be too disappointed, because even this shall pass. And in fact, it needs to pass. It just needs a little time to be worked over. And once we get to the 21st and 22nd, I'm seeing dynamic energy that's really going to mold things together, cement it in cement for you, when we have Mars and Pluto coming in a perfect trine. Mars being your goal, right? Mars wanted to act on the 17th. Wasn't the best of time. Here's Pluto saying, okay, now's time. The two forces coming in together here, very powerful. You could move boulders up mountain is what I like to say here. There's just all this physical strength, there's emotional strength, there's spiritual strength. Pluto's now wanting to transform something. And on the 22nd, so Mercury's coming in to conjunct side by side here with Mars. That's going to trine off on that Pluto. So your communication is powerful, direct, to the point that no misunderstand. There's no room for any misunderstandings. So I think that this is when you can really settle what was a little iffy there between the 16th and 17th and the 19th. 26th though, here is Sagittarius. Venus, love and romance, and Uranus, which is the change that comes upon us unexpectedly. Sextiling, which is a great aspect to have. It's a harmonious. Sextiles are actually a half of a trine. Okay, trine is the beautiful triangle, and this is half of it, so it's still harmonious. Venus, love, romance, but also money. Unexpected news coming in here, and for you, this is between your 7th house of partnership and Uranus here in your 5th house for love. So between these two areas, which once again shows that it has more to do with love and romance for you, Sagittarius, more than money, because it's not affecting or touching upon any of your money houses. But here's something here that I think not only will surprise you, but it will also be a heartfelt, warming feeling on the 26th. On the 30th, we're ending the month with Mercury shifting signs. It's ingressing out of Taurus into Gemini. And Mercury rules Gemini, so it's a double whammy. Gemini is all about communication, and that is Mercury too. So you're going to see that May is going to start off with a lot of things to be spoken about, shared with, and an openness with communication. But more on that next month under our next forecast. Before you go, listen to your moon and your rising sign, and that of what's coming up for your partner. Since there's so much romance going on with you, you want to know what's going on with him or her too. I'll see you next month, Sag.